Yo, what's up, party people? Another episode of Addiction and Recovery Talk. My name is Big D. That's my nickname, Derek. I'm an addict named Derek. And like I told you, the show must go on. I'm here by myself. And so maybe one day I'll find a host. Anybody wants to host with me, come give me a message if you live close by, South Jersey area. But, I'm in the program, 12-step program. And this is the third month, and usually in our meetings, we do like step 3 on the third month, tradition 3. This is the third month, and last night at my home group, we did step 3. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about that. Step 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. This is an action step. This is, to me, step 1, 2, and 3 are the foundation. Any serious structure, anything that's going to be built to last, you gotta have a good foundation for you to be able to stand the test of time. So it's important to have a good foundation. By the time I got to step 3, I have a higher power that I choose to call God, and I believe in Him. Like you wouldn't. I believe that He got me and brought me to this program because nothing else worked. This was the first thing I tried. This was the last thing I tried, but the first thing that worked. There's something about addicts or alcoholics. We have our own society, our own community, and we understand each other. An addict knows what it's like to be homeless or out in the street or locked up. Like regular people might not understand like how we keep going back and doing the same destructive behaviors because we're addicts and we have an allergic reaction when we use drugs. And it's not until we're beaten into submission and hit that rock bottom where like I couldn't take it no more. I was tired of living the way I was living, and it was no fun because using drugs, I'm not gonna lie to you, was fun in the beginning. And it stopped being fun a long time before I stopped, and it was a job, and then it was just horrifying, and it was a nightmare. So, I made a decision to turn my will and my life over to God as I understood Him because my way wasn't working. And so I'm in this program, I'm working the steps, I'm starting to change, I'm starting to get some relief, and starting to like you're raised a certain way, like men are not supposed to cry, men are not supposed to talk about their feelings. We were just raised with some misinformation, you know what I mean? Like, and it's not anybody's fault. It's like we're children. Our parents taught us what they know. They learned from their parents, and usually stuff is passed down. But as addicts, we use over our feelings. Like a girl could break up with me, I'm going to use. My favorite team lost a Super Bowl or a game, I got to use. I use to celebrate. I don't know how to live with or without drugs. You know what I mean? So like I got to learn a whole different way of life. I got to learn how to talk about my feelings. And me personally, it wasn't until I went through some traumatic stuff. If you've tuned in before, you know that I talked about like my first wife relapsed on drugs. I was clean almost 9 years. Never really bought into like talking about my feelings or working the steps and so when that happened, when she used drugs and I was left with 3 kids and freed from myself and what might happen to me or my kids, and like I said, I better start making meetings and getting serious. So I started doing that, and I had always heard people talk about the steps are the key to freedom, and I was like, it didn't really. I said, all right, well, let me just surrender. There's a saying we have: surrender to win. So let me surrender and just do what they're talking about. So maybe I can get some relief, and I can get the benefits of this program. So started just by being honest, which is basically step 1, honesty, open-mindedness. Step 2, step 3, willingness. honesty, open-minded, and willingness. All right, there's a bunch of people just like me who are doing these things in this 12-step program. I'm not doing the 12 steps. Like, why am I in a 12-step program and not doing it? Oh, I'm resisting. I still want to hold on to doing things my way. So I started surrendering. I started doing some stuff. I started getting involved. The first thing was me raising my hand in meetings and just talk about how I felt, what was going on with me, which was foreign to me because, you know, we're supposed to be men. We're supposed to be strong, silent, and, you know, we don't cry. We, you know, we're like warriors. We're protectors. We're supposed to be like, you know, we're supposed to be something that we're really not. We're people with emotions. So I started talking about what was going on. I started talking about like how I felt about things that were going on, how I was raised, and you know, it's crazy because getting in touch with my feelings was the thing that ended up like really starting to help me. And we have the same, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. Now getting, and I got a sponsor and I started sharing some stuff with him and got comfortable with him because he started sharing stuff with me. A lot of stuff I thought I would take to my grave. And I realized we all have done things. We all have, you know, had things happen to us or whatever, and that's hurtful, that keeps us in bondage. And I started realizing, man, I want to be free, man. And freedom is not free, it takes work. See, like, here's the thing for me, and I really live by this. If you want something, you have to work for it. So if I want to be able to be comfortable in this skin, if I want to be able to walk around and not like worry about what people think, I have to go through the fire. I have to go through that stuff. I had to start opening it up at meetings. And let me tell you something. When I first started getting honest in meetings, especially in a room full of people, I used to get hot and just start sweating. Like the truth was just like, I was so worried about what people would think, and just like I'm in a room full of junkies, like, you know, like people that done it all just like me, and I'm worried about what they think and how they're going to judge me. And then I started realizing, man, we all have done stuff and we all got to overcome some things. So I started sharing, and you know, it was crazy. I remember I started sharing I got to the point where I got comfortable sharing gut level honest stuff, because I started liking the feeling I got from letting it go. I call it either throwing up in the meeting or crapping all over it. Like, you go to the bathroom, you poop, whatever, you get relief because all that stuff is toxic. It has to come out of your system, and then you feel better. When you real sick and you throw up and you get it all out, you feel better. And I started realizing all that stuff I was holding on to, I used that analogy, like I started letting it go, man. Just telling the truth, man. Who cares, man? Who cares? And then what happened was, after the meeting, people would come up to me. It was funny. It was like secretive. Like, oh, yo, man, I felt that way too. You know what I mean? I was going through the same thing. And we do some stuff, man, that's embarrassing sometimes. Like, we don't want to talk about, we don't want to share, especially like if you're in a room and it's, you know, this mixed company. Like, you know, like I at one time when my wife left me, I had a problem with, you know, getting prostitutes, and like, you know, I was doing that. That was a reality. You know, I was doing that because it's like another form of using for me. Like I wanted to hurry up and feel good. You know what I mean? I know if I do that, if I get her to do the stuff I want her to do, I'm going to feel good instantly, instant gratification. And then I might drive away and feel like crap later, but right now I want to feel good. And I started getting to the point where that wasn't feeling good no more. And I remember sharing at a meeting and, you know, was worried about like how people are going to perceive it. And then after the meeting, these guys come up to me, oh, I got that problem too. I'm like, oh, man, we're all people. We all do stuff, man. We all go through things, man. Like, I'm not the first. I'm not going to be the last to do stuff like that. And I started realizing, man, it's about getting better, man. It's about, talking about that stuff and getting to the point where I don't have to live like that no more. I mean, I don't have to live. I don't have to do that to myself. I don't have to degrade myself or somebody else. And usually, if a girl's out there doing that, it's because she wants something. She wants drugs. So I'm helping her destroy herself. I started having a conscience about like how I'm living and what I'm doing, man, and how I got daughters and what I want somebody to, and I started just like knocking out these little things little by little, like addressing them, talking about them, working with a sponsor, going through the step work, going through the process, doing the work, man, because I wanted to get better, man. And that's where it's at, man. It's about, growing. It's about, not, and I've been clean for 29 years, but I didn't graduate. I didn't get a certificate. I didn't get like a graduation that I've made it. Like I still have to work this program one day at a time. Now, am I the person that I was 29 years ago? No, I'm nowhere near. I'm not even the person I was 5 years ago. I remember picking up anger. Was it, like I was mad, like angry at my situation, angry that my first wife just left me, man, and my kids went to live with Georgia and live with my parents. And you know how hard that was? My mother telling me about my own kid, because my youngest kid went down there. She was 10 months old. So she started walking and talking in Georgia. And we lived in Philadelphia. So like when my daughter, I remember I wanted to go visit them one time, because I used to see them every 6 months. I went to go visit them one time down in Georgia, and they didn't know I was coming that particular day. And so when they came home from school, my two older kids came running to me to hug me, and she just stood there and looked like she wasn't sure who I was. And they were like, "Come on, this is Dad." You know what I mean? And it was just like, wow, man. And I remember like her starting to talk and talking with a Southern accent. And it bothered me. I was like, oh my God, my kid's gonna have a Southern accent. I gotta hurry up and get my life together so I can get my kids back, man. And then like getting married the second time, like probably for the wrong reasons, man. I married my second wife after knowing her for 8 months. Like I met her, I met her when I had my kids, because it was during Christmas time. Then my kids went back, and we were hot and heavy and all that. And I probably would have took my time a lot more to get to know her, but I selfishly wanted to get my kids back. And I thought, well, if I marry her, she's got a daughter. She's got 2 daughters, one in college and one that's the same age as my youngest, and we can all get together, and it'll be easier because I'll have a wife, and that was a big part of my motivation to do that, to get married after knowing somebody for 8 months and then wondering why it didn't work out. And it was 3 years of like battles, because we had different parenting styles and different things, like I look back now, man, we're friends now, but it was like I can't, this my decision making, you know what I mean? And like looking back at it now and starting to use anger. Anger became my new drug. Like I would explode with this anger because I was in fear. I was scared that if it doesn't work out, that I'm gonna have to raise my kids by myself. So I used to get so angry and just be a bully, you know what I mean, to get my way, because that was like my go-to thing. Like if things not going my way, I would just go to anger, start hollering and screaming, and turn into the Tasmanian devil, so I could feel like I'm in control again. And then like take a ride, and I would upset the whole house, and it was like a constant battle. And then I would drive away and call my sponsor, and I would feel like this big, man, because it was like using a drug. It was like using to feel good for the moment, to feel in control, only to like have that crash come down like you do when you do any drug, man. You feel good for the moment, then you come crashing down, and then you got to use more drugs to get back up. And it's just like, instead of like working through it and trying to talk and being a reasonable human being, learning how to use your communication skills, which is I learn how to do now, like talking things out, man. And we can all agree, even if we don't disagree, I don't have to be nasty about it. We don't have we can be, you know, we could do things in a different way, man. I've learned so much through going through pain and agony and just living life on life terms, and then making mistakes, and then coming to terms with there's a better way to live, there's a better way to do things, man. And it took a long time, man. But I will. The one thing I will say, like I said, it's foundation, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. I always got honest after you know the smoke clears, so to speak, and I would always look at my part. I had sponsors that always told me, look at the part you played in the situation. What could you have done differently? You know what I mean? Like, you want to point the finger at the other person. When you're pointing the finger, look, I'm pointing the finger, right? But I got 3 more pointing back at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a look in the mirror, man. You can't change that other person, but you can change yourself. I can change me. I can change how I react on a situation. I don't have to act like a park ape, man, because that's not helping nothing. That's just making it worse. And then what she used to do was point out how crazy and angry I was. And I'll never forget, because we tried. We went through marriage counseling through our church that we were members of at one time. We got baptized and all that. I went to church faithfully and took the kids to Sunday school. It was cool. And the counselor, she was a reverend. She said, Derek, a lot of stuff that you're saying makes sense. She said, but you blow it and you let her off the hook. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, because you explode in anger, and then that's all she focuses on is how angry you are. You give her a way out, man, instead of staying calm and rational and continue to talk. You give her a way out, because now the focus is on how angry you got and how you were hollering and screaming and acting like a maniac. And I was just like, wow, now think about it. I still remember her saying that to me. Like, certain things have happened to me in certain episodes of my life, and people have said stuff to me that sunk in. It made me think, and I'm like, wow, maybe I need to take a look at that. Maybe I need to do something different. So I ended up getting a sponsor. He was my 3rd sponsor, and I asked him to be my sponsor because I called him the Zen Master, because he seemed to be just calm, cool, and collected. Like, he didn't seem like he let things upset him. And so I basically asked him. I was more nervous asking him to be my sponsor than I would ask a girl out on a date. You know what I mean? It was weird. And I asked him, and he told me he'd get back to me, and he accepted me as his sponsee, and he was my sponsor for like 12, 13, 14 years, man. We did a lot of work. And the time I had him, I worked on my anger issues. I worked on like blaming other people, like taking responsibility for like my life and my actions, and focused on being a really good parent and a good member of a productive member of society. And today, I'm a member of a church. I do security for that church. It's in the hood in Kensington. It's a crazy situation, because right outside it's like Beirut with the drug epidemic right outside. I go down there on Thursdays. I'm the weightlifting coach, and I'm a productive member of the 12-step program I'm in, and I've been involved in it 29 years. I still go to meetings regularly. My home group's on Sunday. I have a sponsor. I'm on my 4th sponsor now. My guy, I've known him since I was 13 years old. He knows everything about me. He knows everything. He knows me. We got high together. He got clean 3 years before I did. He was the best man at both my weddings. He was there when all my kids were born, and he just knows me inside and out, man. And we've been on this journey, man. And we talk about it a lot. A lot of times we sponsored each other, man. He's been divorced. I've been divorced twice. We've been there for each other, and we're still there after all these years, man. Like, I was in my 20s. He was in his 30s when he got clean, and he's in his 60s now. And he's 67 or 68. He just turned 68. I'm I'm 57. I'll be 58 this June. And we've been on this journey, you know what I'm saying? I'm a productive member of the Operating Engineers, Local 542, man. I've been in that union for 18 years, man. I've been, I'm on the Civil Rights Board. I'm like involved. I'm a productive member of this union who's involved and I make the meetings. I don't just make the money and not give back. I care about my union. I care about what goes on. I'm trying to get my son in now. I mean, he just had an interview. It looks good, so hopefully he'll be in this year. You know what I mean? I go to the gym regularly. I'm a part of a gym, man, where I'm visible. I'm there all the time. I work on myself, and people see me, and I have relationships there. And I give people. We encourage each other. You know what I mean? I share whatever I can, my experience. I do hot yoga, and that's another whole community I just got involved with almost 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in May, man, and I'm gonna train to be an instructor this coming September. Like, I got all this positive stuff going, and I got other things that I'm an entrepreneur. I'm gonna start. I already started. We're gonna be very successful because I'm speaking that into existence, because I'm positive and I have a higher power that says I can do anything through him. And, I could sell drugs, do all this other stuff, but no, I choose to do something that's going to help society, not destroy, man. There's an epidemic out there, and these people are making tons of money because drugs sell themselves. That would be easy to go do, because I used to sell drugs. I know how easy it is to sell drugs and make money, but I'd rather take the long road, the long way home, and do it the right way. And I'd rather not make money if making money means to destroy other people, man, because I got a higher power to answer to. I got to look in the mirror, man. I got to feel good about what I'm doing today. And that's a change, because I was a drug addict who didn't care about nothing except himself. I sold drugs. I became my own best customer until I destroyed myself. And that's what the disease of addiction wants. It wants me to destroy myself and others. And I don't live like that today, man. I'm proud of this, man. And I'm going to continue to go, man. I feel like I've only just begun. It's getting better and better. I'm so disciplined. I've learned so much, and I incorporated other things in my life, and I even learned how to not use food, because I use a lot of stuff, sex, all kind of stuff, to feel better for the moment. But, I use food to fuel my body, not just to eat, just to feel better. Sometimes, yeah, of course, we indulge because we should, you know what I mean? We should enjoy it, but I don't use it to destroy myself, so to speak. Everything I try to do is to build and to, use for something good. And, this is another episode. I'm glad to continue to do this. Sometimes I feel like I shouldn't do this no more. Ain't nobody really watching, but guess what? A couple people are watching. And you know what? It can't be successful if I quit. I know that for sure. And I'm not a quitter. I'm a champion. You know what I'm saying? I'm a warrior. I'm a barbarian. I'm a beast. I'm a man who raises his kids. And I didn't give up. I did it one day at a time until I got to and I still not done raising them. I'm still gonna always be there for counsel, for love and support. And that's the best thing I ever did was raise my kids, man. I could easily left them in Georgia with my parents. They were kind of upset when I wanted to get my kids back. And I was like, I wanted my kids. I wanted to raise my kids. I didn't have kids to not raise them. I didn't want to have them so somebody else could raise them. I wanted to be a part of their lives, and I'm so glad I did because of the relationship I had with them. And my parents didn't ask me for nothing. They didn't ask me for money, no child. They didn't ask me for nothing. And the years they had them, man, I was a bachelor. I was living in Philly. I had a house. I could have just continued to live like that. But no, that's not how I roll. That's not how I was raised, man. My father was the man. He showed me how to, you take care of your family. He was tough on me. He kicked my ass. I used to not like him because he was he was not tender and loving, let's just say. But I'm kind of glad he did that to me because like my father used to be like, time to get up. He used to just hit me. He didn't say, good morning, son, rise and shine. Now, he used to hit me, time to get up, time to go to school, go get the paper, go do this, go do it. Like, he was just like ruthless almost. And I learned just to get up and do what he says because he's not messing around. If I can't walk around with an attitude, none of that, because he's going to jack me up. So that's how I live, man. I just get up. I just do what I got to do because it's got to get done, man. Complaining doesn't help. But I also got that nurturing from my mother, that loving and caring. So I actually think I got God gave me the best, man. He gave me the best, man. He gave me what I needed, man. And they were the perfect parents for me. But are they the perfect parents? Nah. But they were perfect for me. And hopefully that was the same case with me raising my kids. I did the best that I knew how. I did what I liked as a kid that happened to me, and what I didn't like, I didn't do. It's just that simple. And I thank God for my parents. They're both gone now, but they did great, man. I mean, they you know what I mean? They took care of me, man. They did their best, man. You know what I mean? And that's all you can ask for. So, like, don't get a sponsor, get a home group, get in service, get some phone numbers, make meetings, get a higher power. We don't care who it is or what it is, as long as it's loving and caring and greater than yourself. If you don't have a higher power, the higher power could be the group, the meeting, whatever you need it to be. We don't judge. We're here to encourage and help people. We want people to not use drugs and to stop destroying themselves. There's an epidemic out there. And trust me, I see it every week when I go to Kensington. I don't even think they're having fun. It just looks like they're just using to not be sick. And like they're in pain and misery. And the drugs out there now, the fentanyl and the trank, the stuff they're putting in it, is making them lose limbs. So it's like the walking wounded out there. It's like zombie land. It's like at least when I grew up, I know me, I started out smoking weed and drinking on weekends, and we had fun. And then we started doing the harder drugs. Then, that was fun until it wasn't no more. So it was a progression of the bad stuff. Just like I love gangster movies. They all start out great, you know what I mean? At the end, somewhere in the middle, towards the end, it starts declining until they're either dead or in jail, and or they lose everything. So like that's what drugs are designed to do. They're designed to destroy you. They're a tool of destruction sent by the evil one, in my belief. Disease, the devil. See, it's like it's evil, man. Drugs are evil, man. And now it's like, oh my God, and it's killing people, and they're making millions. No, they're making billions of dollars. I just saw this documentary on Tubi. It's a free movie site. It was called The CEO of Sinaloa. It was the story of El Chapo, and it was talking about his criminal organization and how much money they were making. It's insane. It's almost wants to make me like, damn, maybe I should get to the cartel. Could make billions and millions of dollars, but it ain't worth it, because it's like, it's basically you have to sell your soul to the devil. I think they sold themselves to the devil. That's the way I look at it, because they're making all this money, but a lot of people are dying over this, and a lot of them die because they kill each other. You know what I mean? So another episode. You know what I mean? And I love being clean. I love helping out. I love sharing my experience, strength, and hope. I have a passion for it. Like I said, I got 29 years. I plan on, plans. I make plans. God laughs. I plan on living to 100-something years old and continue to do this. That's my plan. I don't know what he has planned, but whatever he has planned, I'm down with it. Even if it means I'm dead tomorrow. Because like if I'm dead tomorrow, then that means I'll be up there with him the next day. So like it's all good, man. I'm grateful. I'm a grateful addict. They say a grateful addict will never use. So I'm an addict named Derek. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.